Thousands of students have gathered here in downtown Toronto, outside of Queen's Park, protesting Doug Ford's government's cuts to OSAP and changes to education. And let me tell you something, they've come with a clear message.
Hands up for OSAP! Hands up for OSAP! Hands up for OSAP! Hands up for OSAP!
You guys have organized a massive protest. Thousands of students are out here outside of Queen's Park. What's your reaction to all of this?
Ultimately, it's really exciting to see so many people, students, parents, and communities come together because we're all going through the same crisis. At the end of the day, the decisions that the government is making is affecting all of us, and we all have a stake in this issue. It is really heartwarming to see that so many people care about this issue and are willing to really show this government and demand them to keep their hands off our education.
You're upset with Doug Ford, eh?
Yes, because as somebody who didn't even get a college credit, how is he the one to talk about our education? He's talking about how he wants to push forward for STEM students to take more STEM classes, but at the same time, he keeps cutting funding off of STEM. He keeps cutting funding for people to go to education.
A lot of the students, I'm not one to say, you're picking basket weaving courses, and there's not too many baskets being sold out there. Go into healthcare, go into trades, go into jobs of the future.
You're telling us to go into STEM professions like healthcare, but you're cutting funding for healthcare. How's that gonna work?
You feel like he's being a little bit of a hypocrite.
Absolutely.
He talks about he's for the people. He wants students to take STEM classes. Then why did you close down the Science Center?
Yes.
Why did you close down the Science Center if you want us to go to the sciences? I'm a first-generation immigrant. My mom is a single mom, and it's hard to go to university, especially during this day and time, without us having to sacrifice. I had to pay out $3,000 out of my pocket just to go to university. I'm in sociology, and then knowing that this is a structural issue, this is a conflict, it's something that's really sad because...
Are you worried about being able to afford school?
Yes, because I am somebody that's interested in going to law. I'm interested in getting my master's in sociology, and then for me, OSAP is the only way for me to afford university. Honestly, a lot of people say here, our classmates, it's almost all of us that take OSAP because OSAP helps it so it's easier for us to go to university without having to go do 3 full-time jobs and study full-time at the same time.
He's just doing what he's been doing for years now. He's doubling down on hurting students that are already struggling, already in debt. And he's taking those students and he's adding more loans, adding more barriers. For a province that boasts some of the best education in the world, we're now going to have a generational change when students can't access that education, can't fund their studies. I thought this was so important to me. I came in from Ottawa this morning on a bus just because it's about being there. It's about having the numbers and showing forward that, hands off our education.
Every person within the country actually has the right to an education. When you strip barriers to kind of punish the few that marginalize the many, it just doesn't really fix an issue. And I think what Doug Ford needs to kind of do is cater more towards the students and less towards he's trying to cater for, but yeah.
Thousands of students out here at Queen's Park today protesting Doug Ford. Tell me why. Why was it important for you guys to be out here?
Because they're cutting our OSAP and they're getting rid of so many opportunities for so many students, and not only just us, but for so many other people
They're
as
turning
well.
it from loans a lot to grants, more people will have to pay out of pocket to get to be educated.
Yeah.
When you heard about that change that they're going to do to OSAP, basically cutting grants, upping the loan portion, what was your initial reaction?
Just disgusted, honestly. It's already so hard to afford to live anyways, and now you're going to raise and make everyone work harder to afford school, which they need to have a job in life. Yeah, it's just disgusting what they're doing.
What was your reaction?
So many friends of mine will have to not go to university if these changes stick.
Well, is that the conversation that they're having?
So many of them are just there's no way I'll be able to pay for this. So, because I remember one friend of mine got a lot of this covered through a bunch of causes through OSAP, and that's how he's going to UFT right now. But yeah, he might not be able to go. He might have to work for a while. So yeah.
I teach early childhood education at Centennial College.
So what have you been hearing from students after Doug Ford announced these cuts and the changes to education?
They're frustrated, they're worried, they're stressed out. In fact, I invited them here, so I was just keeping my eyes out potentially to see a few of them. I hope they came. But they're motivated. They're motivated to get this government out.
Are you worried for students who are going to be affected by these changes?
Yeah, definitely. I'm worried for society on a whole. I'm worried for the students, for the workers, and I think it's so critical and actually really inspiring to see so many different pockets of people here today that want to take a stand about Doug Ford destroying our province.
Well, the changes are severe. A lot of students upset about the cuts to OSAP. More of OSAP funding going to be loans instead of grants. Do you think Doug Ford is going to change his mind?
Truly, I believe that the more people get together, the more we consistently organize, the government must reverse course at some point. Because this isn't the first time that the Ford government has attacked education, and it isn't the first time that we've seen policy changes because students mobilize. With the movement that we're seeing today, I'm confident that this is the start of a long-standing fight so that the government must reverse course.
Why was it important for you to organize this rally today?
Of course, across the province, we are seeing multiple people who are frustrated about this issue, and one thing that this government likes to do is feed off fragmented movements. As the Canadian Federation of Students Ontario, we provide a coordinated province-wide action and avenue to bring all of these different communities together so that we can show this government that if you hit one of us, you hit all of us.
Doug Ford and the government have to reverse this change. That's step number one. Step number two is they have to realize that this is an affordability crisis right now, and putting more pressure on students and their families is the wrong thing to do. I hear from almost as many parents as I do students. And as a matter of fact, when I picked up these t-shirts, I thanked the guy because he got them done in 24 hours. And then he says, no, thank you. I need you to do that because I've got a daughter that's in university. I've got 2 more that are coming up. So this is a thing that affects families, right? It's not just the government against students. It's the government against families. And students are paying the price. I haven't seen a protest this big in a while, right? This many people on the front line, this many young people. And I think the government is really underestimating the power of youth and how important this is to people in the middle of an affordability crisis. How putting more burden on students and their families is the wrong thing to do. You know, parents and students, they work hard to get to the point where they're going to get a degree or a diploma or a trade. And what the government's saying is, you're going to have to borrow more. We're going to make it harder for you, when actually they should make it easier, because it's the smart thing to do in a global economy to have highly trained, healthy, skilled people. That's the most valuable commodity.
I'm really glad to hear so many students out here today lending their voices to the call for Doug Ford to save OSAP.
What realistically can be done, though, because he has a majority government?
Yeah. When March 23rd rolls around and we're back in the legislature, we will make sure the first thing we do is bring that to a vote. But I want to tell you this as well. Doug Ford could turn this around right now. He has flipped and he has flopped so many times. He could do it again. We got him. I got him to back off on the Greenbelt. We all work together to do that, to back away from the education workers. We can win this too, but it is going to take every single one of us. Talk to your family, talk to your friends, get everybody that you know out and calling Doug Ford and his MPPs.
He's made some really divisive comments towards students, saying don't take basket weaving courses.
Outrageous.
He's, like you said, changed the formula for OSAP. A lot of students are worried. A lot of them have been telling us they don't know if they can afford to go to school now, especially those from low-income households. What do you say to those parents and those students who are going to be the most affected by all of this?
Yeah, I mean, look, Doug Ford, when it comes to any of his pet projects, his vanity projects, he suddenly has money growing on trees, right? And he accuses students of, misspending OSAP on things that they just simply don't have. It's just baloney, right? It's a lie. He's making young people out to look like they're the bad guys, when at the end of the day, this is about choices. He has a choice that he can make, and he's choosing to spend this on things like luxury spas in downtown Toronto, billions of our dollars, instead of actually supporting young people and their futures. This is about priorities. Every other government in this country spends more on post-secondary education than Ontario does. And now we're going to download that debt onto young people. I hear the young people saying to me here today, they're having trouble affording food. They can't even, some of them, afford their TTC fares. Now you want them to carry debt for decades? What happens then to our economy when a young person graduates and can't get out there and look for the right kind of job, can't get out there and buy a home, right? Can't even afford rent. This is what this is going to do to our future. And, these kinds of comments about the kind of education, basket weaving, you know what? I don't think Doug Ford has any expertise in HR, and he certainly doesn't know what he's talking about. We need students who come from all kinds of different disciplines, and the humanities and the arts are important too.
So this was made by one of my colleagues, and I can't take the credit for the art, but he's turning Ontario into a dumpster fire, and it's got to stop. Yeah.
So your exact words to him, if he was standing right here or that camera was Doug Ford, what would you say to him?
I don't know if I can say it on camera.
You definitely can.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I'd love to highlight his privilege and his lack of education. Things were just handed to this man, and not everybody is in that position. So hands off our education, and I'll add healthcare.
What would you say to Doug Ford if he was standing right here?
Well, that we're not privileged like you. We just want to get our education, and the OSAP is affecting everybody.
The OSAP cuts are affecting everybody.
Yeah.
I'd tell him to lay off the ice cream because it's giving him brain freeze and he's making stupid decisions like this. I mean, think about the money he spent in the last couple of years. $148 million for a campaign he didn't need to run in. Another $15 million to Chapman Ice Cream, and another $10 million to train exotic dancers, which all this stuff is not needed. I mean, he could have dumped that into the education system and got at least 17,000 to 20,000 people post-secondary education with no questions asked. This isn't protecting Ontario. This is making problems for Ontario.
What I would say to him is, please educate yourself. I'm not somebody that's going to force you to go to university, but I want you to understand why people go to university in the first place. We have our own passion, we have our own drive, we know what we want to do. Some people want to go to the creative industry, some wants to become a teacher, but then if you essentially cut off that pathway, then what are we supposed to do? Work at McDonald's like you want us to do? Work in retail? We want to be better than what class you put us in. We want to go up. We want to be middle class. We want to be stable. And he's clearly making sure that we stay unstable for the rest of our lives.
He's always only cared about the 1%, and this is honestly not surprising. And the fact that he's scapegoating some TikTok kid who's making a joke when he's been trying.
You're talking about when he said that students are spending their OSAP on things like watches and stuff. You guys felt offended by that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. The fact that he's generalizing one guy as our entire OSAP system, that guy also works 3 full-time jobs.
3 jobs still Ford school.
Yeah. It's literally called a joke. Learn to take one. If you're interested in cutting anything, cut your diet. As a fat person, you're busy cutting funding off when you should be cutting that McDonald's out of your diet.
And you know what? The sun is out because, I don't know, God or nature wants us to be out here.
And the sun has not been out for months.
Exactly.
So all I'm saying, this is a divine intervention. And to Doug Ford, I'm looking at the camera. Come debate us. If you're so worried about our arts degree, if you're so worried about the fact that we're not doing proper education, please do a debate with our student. I want to talk to you face to face, as a matter of fact. Come.
I feel like there's so many other problems they have to deal with in the government. Like there's so like the homeless crisis, like the drug crisis, everything. This is just not something that had to happen. There's no reason for it. They could not have been funded. It could not have been taking that much money away from the government to require doing this.
So why do you think he's targeting students?
I don't know, to be honest. He just doesn't like them. I'm not sure, but I honestly don't know, to be totally honest. It baffles me how he's done this and why he's done it. I've thought of it. I've been trying to think of a reason, and I can't think of a reason. So.
Are you going to vote in the next election?
Yes, for sure.
Will it be for Doug Ford?
God, no.
Are you going to vote in the next election?
Absolutely.
Will it be for Doug Ford?
Absolutely not.
Same question to you. Are you going to vote in the next election?
Absolutely.
Are you going to vote for Doug Ford?
Why would I do that?
You need to get your priorities straight. Decisions that you are making do not benefit students. You only care about generating profit at the expense of students' livelihood, and we are not going to let that happen anymore. We are coming together, we are united, and we will continue to make our demands clear.